All right, what's going on, everybody? Gerardo here with LookIntoHex.com. Welcome back to the channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome in. We're going to be talking about PulseChain and the fact that it has actually generated over $27 million in donations to SENS.org, which is longevity research, aka medical research. You can learn more about this by visiting SENS.org and understand that this launch of this Ethereum hard fork known as PulseChain, which is also going to be the biggest airdrop in history, has also raised over $27 million for medical research, which I personally think is fantastic. It means that there is an underlying ethos to this project that is for the benefit of you and me. So I love to see it, definitely love to see it. And if you actually look at the address they provide, you can do the chain analysis for yourself, right? I actually haven't done it, but if you go in here, you can see the latest transactions to SENS Research and note how all of their coins are sold almost instantly, right? They're actually required by law, I believe, to sell any crypto they are given. I don't think they're allowed to speculate as a nonprofit. So you can see here that about 18 hours ago was the last transaction for about 3,000 USD, and you can keep scrolling down. Here's a nice one 2 days ago, 20,000 USD, and you can just scroll through all of these ERC20 transactions. A few thousand here, $123,000 right here, and 25K. So if you visit their website, again, sens.org, that's SENS.org, then you can actually click on the first thing that shows up is the PulseChain airdrop, right? On their initial banner, you just click on the red button and it gives you instructions. And then you have to email them first, actually, here at airdrop@sens.org. There are instructions for UK citizens and Canadian citizens, and email them first, right? Because sure, they have a link here that says we can only verify donations sent to our wallet addresses listed here, and this is actually the link where I got the Ethereum address, right? And they give you a list here of what coins they accept. But for the Ethereum donation address, that is the address I use to do some chain analysis with you here on video. But I haven't done so for I think they're different addresses for the UK citizens and for the Canadian citizens. So I actually haven't looked at those addresses at all, right? But we're getting official notice that over $27 million has entered the chat, so to speak, for medical research, which I think is, again, amazing. On PulseChain.com, you can see the testimonial here by Aubrey de Grey, the actual CSO of SENS Research. So, again, I'll say it again. I think this is amazing. And the fact that you're making a statement for free speech as well as medical research and really taking a stand against Ethereum fees, right? Against high Ethereum gas fees. I like to see all of this commingled into a coordinated effort. It's a beautiful thing. So you have about 2 days and 3 hours left until the phase is over, during which you can sacrifice your coins to be entered into the sacrifice set, which will be eligible or will be a great set to airdrop free things to, right? And Pulse could be one of those things, maybe some other things, right? But we don't know yet. But for now, it's probably going to happen, right? No guarantees, but probably if you sacrifice, you'll probably get some Pulse, right? Yeah, not even 3 days left, man. Only 2 days and 3 hours left. So what exactly happens in these next 2 days and 3 hours and 37 minutes? Well, if you scroll down here on the lookintohex.com/sacrifice page, I have a little hexagon here tracking the actual cost basis, right? Your cost per 10,000 points. So currently that's at $1.80. Once the day ticks over in about 3 hours, you can observe these timers, by the way, on PulseChain.com as well as on the LookIntoHex.com site as well, the sacrifice tab. And you can see that when the day ticks over in about 3 hours, we're going to tick up into not 180 per 10,000 points, but 189, right? So that's another 5% increase. So you'll get less coins or less points, right? You'll get less points per dollar in 3 hours. So just keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that we are in our last phase for the bonus multiplier on volume, meaning this, that now everyone has a flat bonus multiplier for volume. So everyone pretty much has the exact same cost basis for the next 2 days and 3 hours, is what that means. Because for the first 16 days, if you recall, there was sort of a battle for this volume multiplier, which at its height is 2.5x, and at its lowest is just the 1x for the smallest sacrificer. And so you get these sort of different cost bases, where for the little guy, this red curve, he had a higher cost basis because he's only getting a 1x multiplier. He's not getting a 2.5x multiplier, making the coins for, let's say, the whale much, much cheaper, right? What is the whale getting him at? Makes sense, right? 40 cents per 10,000 points versus $1, because that's a 2.5x advantage. Yeah, precisely. And so you can see that the cost basis has flattened out for everyone here. And it's pretty interesting what this looks like on this chart for people who are sacrificing hex, right? This is your rate, which it's looking like in retrospect, day 2 was the best day to sacrifice for literally, it's looking like everyone. Yeah, looking like day 2. If you wanted to get the max USD value on your hex, because obviously a lot of people are sacrificing hex, right? You can see it on the chain itself. About, I think, 2/3 of all Ethereum-based sacrifices have been hex so far. You can do this. You can actually check this for yourself. Do this chain analysis yourself. PulseChain.com. Copy the sacrifice address. Go into Etherscan. Paste it in. You can see that, yeah, 391 million over 448 is about 90% actually. That's kind of nuts. About 90% of all sacrifice value has been in the form of hex. That's pretty nuts. Which just speaks to the reason why I decided to make this chart in the first place, because I recognized that, and so thought some of you guys might want a nice little optimization ratio chart, which is what we used to call it, but now we're just calling it your hex PLS sacrifice rate, meaning sort of what did the hex value do, and what did its purchasing power curve look like when normalized to both the time and the volume bonding curve, which, as you can see now that the volume curve is flat, everyone is pretty much at a 0.89, right? And so for the little guy, this red curve, that's only a 10% or so disadvantage from the very beginning, right? Obviously from the peak it's more of a disadvantage, but it's not too much of a disadvantage from day 0, right? Because little guy on the red curve at 0.89 is better off now than for all of days 8 to 16. Now that's not the case for someone, let's say, with a slightly bigger sacrifice, for orange, a 1.25 guy. Then you can see that, obviously everyone was had the most favorable rates on the second day, but for, let's say, the orange guy, current rates are more favorable than only days 11 to 16. So for little guy red, it was like days 8 to 16. For orange guys, about 11 to 16. For the yellow guy, it's about days 14 to 16. And you can see that if you were an average sacrificer, then you should have known, right, that it's continuous for you after day 16, because it flattens out to your multiplier. So the curve should look continuous to you as someone on this green curve, which yeah, it does. And you'll be able to see it more like this. Notice how the green curve is actually continuous here, where it flattens out for everyone else. It's discontinuous for everyone except for the average guy, which makes sense because everyone's being flattened out to be an average guy or gal. But this is what it looks like, right? So for the little guys, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And if you were saving some of your stack to sacrifice, well, you know, assuming price is stable or appreciates, then for Hex, then you're looking like you're doing pretty okay, right? Again, only about a 10% disadvantage from literally day 0, day 1, the moment sacrifice opened. It's crazy to think that was less than 3 weeks ago. This whole little phase has felt like forever. But yeah, if you're a whale, you really should have known better. We've been talking about it on the channel, and the math was pretty easy to tell that if you're a whale, right, your cost basis is obviously lower for the first 16 days because it would just spike up and you would be demoted to average on day 17, when the whole time before that you would have ranked as a whale during the rank battles. So I hope all of that makes sense. For those of you who follow along, congratulations, because this stuff is pretty confusing, to be completely honest. I can understand why some of the stuff you might not understand it on the first go, but I know that if you watch these videos enough and you hear these words enough and you actually do your own diligence and look up some of these words that for me are quite normal, coming from a math background, things like normalized. What does that mean? You know, little things. But yeah, I really do hope that it's clear, because that's really my intention here. I've only ever gotten a few comments that say like, yo, this shit's so confusing. Please make it simpler. But for the most part, the overwhelming majority of comments are something like, yo, this is the only TA I've ever understood. Like, you're the only one to ever make this stuff understandable, which is like, okay, I'm getting both sides of the spectrum. And obviously you can't, you know, specialize in every single little niche, right? You're going to naturally attract people who just kind of vibe with your style. So I'm glad I can provide clarity for you. And if I didn't, right, in a video like this or any other one in the future, leave a comment below. Definitely let me know, and I'll do better moving forward, and be specific too. That always helps. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video is the PulseChain sacrifice phase, the fact that it's raised $27 million, probably more by the end of the phase, maybe a little bit more or not. Regardless, it's an amazing number, especially given the fact that I think Sen's only made, like, before that, about $2 million a year. So this just kind of accelerated their funding, most definitely. This is the kind of funding that would have probably taken them another 10 years to obtain. So hopefully they do something good with it, right? And I believe they will. They've been around for long enough. They seem to have a good track record of integrity, and, you know, should be good to go. So very happy about that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/Gerardog. That's GERAWRDOG. It's a terrible brand, I know. Also, twitter.com/LookIntoHex. Own that one as well. This is more of a non-me brand, right? I want you guys to be able to access these charts and share this with your friends without necessarily having to share my personal brand, right? I think LookIntoHex is something that can live on without me, and that's an ethos I really like for it. So definitely go ahead and follow that page as well. Other than that, I think that's it. Appreciate you watching. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share the video, turn on the bell, and I'll catch you in the next video.